There comes a point in life where things don't make sense anymore, when you're trapped in a dark tunnel and there's no light at the end, no sign of relief, when you're buried under the weight of pain, anxiety, stress, fear, completely exhausted from trying to fix everything on your own. And maybe, just maybe, you're doing everything right. You're praying, you're crying, you're begging Allah for help, you're taking action, you're putting in the effort, you're staying up late, sacrificing sleep, barely eating, doing everything you can to pull yourself out of the situation you're in. And yet, nothing seems to change. The weight remains, the darkness lingers. I've been there. I know how it feels. I once lived in that very moment. There was a time when I was in a deeply difficult situation. It felt like I had no control, like the walls were closing in. But I was determined. I wasn't going to let it consume me. So I worked, I planned, I prayed, I stayed up late, sacrificing my health, my peace, my energy. I kept making dua, I kept pushing, thinking that if I just worked hard enough, if I just made enough dua, I could force the situation to change. But what I didn't realize at the time was this: I was relying more on myself than on Allah. Yes, I was calling on Him. Yes, I was making dua. But deep down, I believed the outcome still depended entirely on me. I didn't really trust that Allah had it under control. I didn't believe that He already had a plan, that He had already written something better. I didn't believe that sometimes the most powerful action you can take is surrender. You see, it's not just about asking Allah, it's about trusting Him. That's the part we often miss. We pray, we make dua, but then we act like it's still all on us. We panic, we stress, we burn ourselves out, because we're afraid that if we don't fix it, it won't get fixed. But that's not trust. That's not tawakul. True tawakul is when you take action, but your heart remains at peace. It's when you work hard, but your soul is calm, because you know that in the end, the result is in Allah's hands, not yours. And I learned this the hard way. The breakthrough didn't come when I was at my peak of effort and exhaustion. It didn't come when I was skipping meals and sacrificing my well-being just to solve my problem. It came when I finally took a step back, when I paused, when I said, "Ya Allah, I've done what I can. Now, I leave the rest to you." It was in that moment of surrender that peace began to return, and slowly, without warning, things started to get better. Not because I worked harder, but because I stopped trying to control everything, because I handed my burdens to the one who can carry them with ease, because I trusted the author of my story. And I'm telling you this today, because maybe you're where I was. Maybe you're fighting so hard that you've forgotten how to breathe. Maybe you're doing all the right things, but you've forgotten to trust. Maybe you're burning yourself out, thinking that's what faith looks like. But I want you to know, faith isn't frantic. Faith is calm. Faith is trusting Allah even when the path is dark. It's knowing that He's working on your behalf, even when you see no results. It's understanding that your prayers are never ignored, even if the answer takes time. So take a deep breath. You're not alone in your struggle. Allah sees you. He hears every dua. He knows the pain in your chest. He knows the weight on your shoulders, and He's closer than you think. But you need to stop carrying what He's already promised to take care of. Don't let stress replace your trust. Don't let fear overpower your faith. Yes, take action. Yes, do what you can. But then, let go. Release it into His hands. And believe, really believe, that whatever happens next is exactly what's best for you, even if it's not what you asked for. Because Allah is not just the one who hears your dua. He's the one who knows what you don't say. He's the one who sees the tears you cry when no one is watching. He's the one who knows what's ahead of you and what you can't see coming. And when you choose to trust Him fully, something beautiful happens. Your heart becomes free. Free from worry, free from stress, free from the burden of trying to control what you were never meant to. This is not a call to be passive. It's a call to have balance, to strive but not suffer, to act but not obsess, to make dua but then to let go. And know that Allah doesn't just want to get you out of the problem. He wants to bring you through it, stronger, wiser, more faithful than ever. So don't give up, and don't try to carry it all alone. Trust Allah, with your heart, with your plans, with your future, because the moment you truly trust Him is the moment everything begins to change. Let this message sit deep within you. Return to it whenever life feels too heavy. And always remember, Allah is not far. He's just waiting for you to hand Him what's. And if there's one thing I've learned, one thing I'll carry with me for the rest of my life, it's this: Allah never abandons those who trust Him. Even in your darkest hour, even when nothing makes sense, He is working behind the scenes in ways you can't see. Delays are not denials. Silence is not absence. Sometimes the struggle is the bridge to the blessing. Sometimes the breakdown is the pathway to your breakthrough. So if your heart is heavy today, if your soul is tired, if you're holding on by a thread, don't lose hope. Let go of the urge to control. Release your grip on what's hurting you. Raise your hands and say with full certainty, Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa. Allah is sufficient for me. There is no deity except Him. And when you live with that level of trust, you'll discover peace. Not because your problems vanished, but because your heart finally rested in the one who holds the solution. Leave it to Allah. He's never failed you, and He never will.